It's the most wonderful time of year. No, it's not Christmas. I know many of you are thinking about that song. You're thinking about Christmas, and you're thinking, man, how long did I sleep? No, you didn't sleep that long. It's silly season in the motorsports world, where we see driver changes, driver changes. That sums it up, basically. It's like free agency. If you're a non-NASCAR fan, you're a casual NASCAR fan, it's like what July, that first week of July is for the NBA, where free agency opens up and, Kevin Durant goes to the Warriors and LeBron goes back to Cleveland, all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, there's no set period. It just kind of happens. And it always happens July, August, even into September sometimes. And that's what's happening in the NASCAR world right now. There's some wild reports out there. So I'm going to read you some of them. Has to do with the future of Toyota, basically, and their teams, and also some other things that were kind of already known that I'll just briefly go over. Speaking of, let's go straight to those, some of the things. So Jordan Bianchi, he wrote this article about the whispers in the NASCAR Cup Series garage about which seats are going to be vacant next year, which ones are going to be filled, or which free agent driver is going to go to which team. And there was a lot going on in this article. Some of it we already knew, like he talked about Denny Hamlin. It's expected that Denny Hamlin is going to stay with Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing. That's been reported for a couple months now. He said Eric Almirola, the consensus in the garage is that he's going to step away from full-time racing. Can't say I'm too shocked by that. I was shocked to hear he was coming back in the first place after he announced he was retiring last year. Front row's kind of still up in the air. That won't be sorted out as of now, but they've got 3 options for 2 cars: Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell. So it all depends on what they end up doing. By they, I mean the drivers, obviously. Like if Almirola were to leave and McDowell or Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, if one of them were to step into the 10, that kind of makes their job easier. Signing the other 2. I'm trying to think what else. SVG. Trackhouse is talking to him about a potential ride next year, whether it be part-time or full-time, still TBD. And what other stuff? I'm trying to remember. I don't have the full article on me. For some reason, it's glitching out on my tablet here. But that was the gist of it, because the big, more surprising stuff I'm going to talk about more. And I want to start with that, with Toyota. So the big stuff has to come with Toyota. Toyota's current 2 teams are Joe Gibbs Racing and 2311 Racing. Joe Gibbs Racing has 4 cars. 2311 has 2 full-time cars. They also have the 67 on a part-time basis. We saw it at Daytona with Travis Pastrana, and are about to see it again at Indianapolis with Kamui Kobayashi. No plans with them as of now, like expanding for 2311. There's no plans for 2311 in terms of expanding or if a driver change. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, they're still going to be in those cars. As for Joe Gibbs Racing, this is where it's a little bit more complicated. I said earlier, Denny Hamlin has not yet signed a contract extension, but it's expected to, so, something still could happen there. As for the other 2 cars, Gibbs, Bell, they're under contract for a while. Nothing there. But then there's the 4th car, and this is something that's been going on for over a year now. Martin Truex Jr., the 2017 champion, has been at Joe Gibbs Racing since 2019. He's won a handful, or more than a handful. He's won probably 20 or so races with Joe Gibbs Racing. He's made multiple Championship 4 appearances with them. He has done a lot with Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, last year he was under a contract year. He had to make a decision. Was he going to retire, leave the team, or return? He opted to return on a 1-year deal. And so once again, we have the same question 1 year later. What is Martin Truex Jr. going to do in 2024? Well, earlier in the year when he was winning, he still is winning. Yes, he's the regular season points leader. He's up by 40 or so points. He's got 3 wins on the year. It's been a very good year for him, especially after missing the playoffs last year. And last year, it was kind of a fluke to miss the playoffs. He was top 5 in regular season points, but because there were so many winners, he ended up getting the short end of the stick. There's a source somewhere in the garage, somewhere with Joe Gibbs Racing. This is what the article says. It says, a few months ago, the consensus was Truex couldn't walk away from a situation that offered him a prime opportunity to win races and pursue another championship, and all with a group he adores. Now, though, In the spring, I was convinced he was coming back, said a team source, but today I'm not as certain. So when will Truex definitively make up his mind? He has said he owed it to JGR and Toyota to decide sooner rather than later so the team and manufacturer could plan accordingly. But the team, I cut it off here, but the team, they've got contingencies. They got backup plans ready just in case. And that leads to the next guy, John Hunter Nemechek. But before we start talking about John Hunter Nemechek, Martin Truex Jr., will he retire? I mean, this isn't, but today I'm not as certain. That's kind of a vague statement. Like, he could have been 99% confident, and now he's like 75% confident. That still counts as not as certain. So maybe he was like very, very confident. Now he's only somewhat confident, but still has that confidence. It's a vague statement. I could see Truex retiring. I could see it play out where, Truex says to Joe Gibbs, like, let's not announce anything until November. But if I don't win the championship, I return. If I win the championship, I walk away. You put whoever you want in the car. Something like that. I don't know if that would actually happen, but I could see Martin Truex Jr. doing a Nico Rosberg, win the championship, walk away. But yeah, and that leads to the next guy, John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter Nemechek is an Xfinity Series driver for Joe Gibbs Racing. Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota hold him in high regard. He made a couple of Championship 4 appearances with Kyle Busch Motorsports back when they were a Toyota Truck Series team. And John Hunter Nemechek's path currently is very unusual. He did the normal thing where you start low, you make your way through the ranks, get to the Cup Series. He was in the number 38 front row car. Had a couple of good runs in 2020, 2019, 2020. I can't remember which year he was in that car. But then after 1 year, he opted to not return. It was his decision. He said, I don't want to return to a lower mid-pack team and just run in the 20s and then get the occasional top 10. I want to make it into a winning Cup Series team. So he opted to go backwards in the career trajectory and go to Kyle Busch Motorsports, a top-tier Cup or a Truck Series team, and win a bunch of races, make it to multiple Championship 4s to rebuild his reputation, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And in that process, he's currently still in that process. He has moved up to the Xfinity Series. He's in a top-tier Xfinity Series team, Joe Gibbs Racing. He has 4 wins on the year. I got stats pulled up here. He has 4 wins this year, 10 top 5s, 15 top 10s, and a pole. He's had 597 laps. So he's had an outstanding year. He's second in the regular season standings. Him and Austin Hill have been dominant in the Xfinity Series. And the next step up is the Cup Series. And right now, as of today, I would say, I think many others would say, he would be the guy to step into the 19 car if Martin Truex Jr. retires. Not so fast, says this article. Let's go to Legacy Motor Club. I said earlier in this video only 2 current Toyota teams. Well, there's about to be a third starting in 2024. That is Legacy Motor Club. The team has been with Chevy since 2018. Prior to that, they were with Ford when they were Richard Petty Motorsports. Then they became Petty GMS last year, and then Jimmy Johnson jumped on board, and they completely redid the branding, completely redid everything. They are now Legacy Motor Club. It was announced a couple of months ago that they would be switching from Chevy to Toyota, becoming the 3rd Toyota team in the Cup Series, meaning that Toyota would jump from 6 full-time cars to now 8 full-time cars in the Cup Series. Now the question is, who are the drivers going to be? I was pretty confident that Erik Jones and Noah Gregson would remain the lineup. Gregson's a rookie, you give him a chance. It's been a rough rookie year, but give him a chance. And Erik Jones, he's been phenomenal ever since he has joined that team. Won a race last year, won the Southern 500, not just a race. He won the Southern 500. They would have been top 15 in points if it wasn't for the playoffs. They had an outstanding year last year with the 43 car. The 42 car last year was Ty Dillon. He struggled a bit, but the point being is that they're about to become a Toyota team. And because of that, there is a possibility that Noah Gregson does not race with Legacy Motor Club next year, and that a guy who I just said is highly regarded by Toyota, who currently races for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series, John Hunter Nemechek, could replace him. Here's what it says. This year hasn't gone how the rebranded Legacy Motor Club hoped, in part due to its forthcoming switch from Chevrolet to Toyota. Somewhat surprisingly, one such change may be related to its 2024 driver lineup, according to people with direct knowledge of the discussions but not authorized to speak publicly. That change would see Noah Gregson leaving and Nemechek, who Toyota is high on, taking over driving duties of the number 42 car in 2024. Yeah, that is very much a possibility that Noah Gregson, after his rookie season, I don't know if it would be the team kicking him out, if it would be Toyota kicking him out, or if it would be him making the decision. If I had to guess, it would be more of the Toyota side of things. I know when they first came out and said Legacy is going to be a Toyota team, we're so glad to have Erik Jones and Noah Gregson back in the Toyota family. Remember, Gregson was a part of Toyota in the Truck Series at KBM. And, of course, Jones used to be at Joe Gibbs Racing in the Cup Series, KBM. Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series. So two former Toyota drivers, it seemed like, oh, cool, this is going to work out well. Maybe not. It seems like that there is a possibility. I don't know what the percentage likelihood of this is. It also says that nothing has been determined. There's still the possibility that Gregson returns for a second year. But yeah, there's no secret. Noah Gregson has struggled this year, but at the same time, so has Legacy Motor Club. It's been a disaster of a year for both cars. Last year, as I said, they were top 15 in points. They'd won a race. They had shown winning speed at multiple tracks. This year, it's a great day for them if they get into the top 10 or even top 15 sometimes. I mean, it's just been a disaster. Erik Jones has done the Erik Jones thing, and he has outperformed that car this year. I know he struggled at Joe Gibbs Racing, but he truly has done amazing things at Legacy Motor Club, Petty GMS, former Petty GMS. Whereas that 42 car compared to the 43 has struggled, whether it's Ty Dillon or Noah Gregson. The thing with Gregson that's different than Ty Dillon, though, is that Gregson has the success. It's no disrespect to, I guess technically it's disrespectful to Ty Gibbs, Ty Dillon. But the fact of the matter is, Gregson has competed for Xfinity Series championships. Last year alone, 2022, Gregson had 8 wins on the season in the Xfinity Series. Now, I know Xfinity Cup, not really comparable, but he had been progressing through the Xfinity Series. His first full-time year, he didn't have any wins. His second full-time year, he had 2. The next year, 3. The next year, 8. And he was in the championship for 2 of those years. So Gregson has proven his talent in the lower series, but his first year, it's been a disaster in the Cup Series. I think he's last out of full-time cars right now. Now, he has missed a race. Of course, he had a concussion due to a crash at Gateway, missed the Sonoma race. And so that's not earth-shattering. Like, that wouldn't propel him into the top 20 in points or anything. But it's been an awful year for Gregson. He doesn't have a single top 10. He's led 2 laps. It's probably been the highlight of his year. Nothing has gone right for him. Whether it's a mechanical failure, he gets crashed out, nothing can go right for him. And it's not all of his fault. It's not his fault that his brake rotor exploded at Gateway. It's not his fault when he wrecks at, Talladega. He got wrecked at Talladega, I think. It's not always his fault. So you can't blame him for the poor performance at the 42 team. The entire poor performance, sure, I'm sure he's made mistakes this year. I can't remember every single lap that he's made, but I'm sure there's been moments that he's made mistakes, sure. But he's a rookie. What do you expect? Do you expect a rookie to step into a Cup Series car, a mid-pack Cup Series car, and go out and make the playoffs, win races, and all this? No. I think my expectation for Noah Gregson this year was somewhere in the top 25 in points. I'd say top 25, but more in the 20 to 25 rank. I didn't see him making the playoffs. I didn't see him winning a race, but I saw him doing decent based on last year's results for the Legacy Motor Club. But it's been awful this year for him, and if he were to get booted because of this year, that would be very disappointing. I think you got to give him another year before you boot him out. But if it's Toyota making the decision and they're hell-bent on getting John Hunter Nemechek in that car, they will do anything they can. But if you're John Hunter Nemechek, I think you wait out. Now, if Toyota's making the decision for you, like you have somewhere in your contract that you go where Toyota tells you to go, then you kind of got to go to Legacy. But if I'm John Hunter Nemechek, I personally would wait on the 19 car. Joe Gibbs Racing is established. They're a championship competing team every single year. You can't pass down an opportunity. You sit in the Xfinity Series an extra year to get in that car. I don't know what Legacy Motor Club's going to do in their first year of Toyota. I don't know what they're going to do for their first 3 years in Toyota. There's too many question marks, if you ask me, to go to Legacy Motor Club for a few years, run mid-pack, or maybe, they hit a grand slam with Toyota and they go out and compete for championships. But if you are John Hunter Nemechek and you have the opportunity, I think you wait for the 19. Truex may not retire this year, but it could be soon. Truex is 43. He doesn't have a lot of years left, and if he starts being uncompetitive, I don't know when that would be. I don't think he would want to stay. I think being competitive is what's keeping him in the Cup Series. He's a champion. He doesn't want to go down looking bad. He doesn't want to go down missing the playoffs on consecutive basis. So I think if you're John Hunter Nemechek, I think you wait out the 19 car. I don't think you should go to Legacy. It's nothing disrespectful to Legacy, but the current path that John Hunter Nemechek is on is pointing right at the 19 car. The other Xfinity drivers in that program right now are not ready for that car. Sammy Smith, very young. Who else is in that program? They reduced. They're now a 2-car team, I think, in the Xfinity Series. Are they? Man, I got myself second guessing. Anyways, Sammy Smith's in one of their cars. We see Ryan Truex sometimes in one of those cars. But if I'm John Hunter Nemechek, I personally am waiting for that 19 car, waiting for a decision on what Truex is doing. If Truex opts to return for one more year, he keeps doing this 1 year at a time deals, I'm absolutely waiting on that 19 car. No disrespect to the 42 team, no disrespect to Legacy, but the fact of the matter is Joe Gibbs Racing is a championship caliber team. They've won multiple championships as of recent. They win races. Every car wins a race every year, and that's too difficult to pass up if you're John Hunter Nemechek. So I personally I would still, even though this report came out, I would still be a little bit shocked if JHN ended up in the 42 car, but you never know. If Toyota's pulling the strings, it could very well happen, but I'd feel bad for Gregson. I'd hope he'd be able to land on his feet. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was a lot of information. We talked about it, quite a few different free agency situations. There's a lot of questions at front row. Will Almirola retire? A lot of people seem to think so. Truex, hit whatever his decision is, it's going to send shockwaves through the NASCAR world either way. It's going to change a lot of things. Then if Legacy Motor Club, Toyota, whoever is pulling those cords, whoever makes that decision on the 42 car, we'll see. So thank you for watching this video again. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, evening. I got somewhere to go. I would have talked about the day 2 of testing at Richmond, but I wanted to talk about this. I'll talk about day 2 of testing tomorrow. I'll see you guys in that video. So yeah, some interesting things said. Look forward to it tomorrow.